Burkina Faso is undergoing a transformation that is capturing global attention, led by its dynamic 36-year-old president, Ibrahim Traore. Today, we're diving deep into how his visionary leadership is turning the country into a beacon of self-reliance in food production. President Traore is challenging a long-held belief that Africa must rely on foreign aid to feed its people. While many African leaders depend on Western assistance, Traore is charting a new course, one of national dignity and self-reliance. His promise is simple yet powerful. Burkina Faso will no longer beg for food. Instead, it will produce its own. In one of his most groundbreaking moves, President Traore has reimagined the role of prisoners in society. Instead of remaining idle behind bars, inmates are now integrated into a national agricultural workforce. Once seen as a burden on state resources, these individuals are being empowered with real skills that not only help feed the nation but also prepare them for a productive life after incarceration. Burkina Faso's Minister of Justice and Human Rights Mr. Adasso Rodrigo Arbeola recently toured Bapora Prison Center, a correctional facility that has been converted into a thriving agricultural site. Observing the vast fields of wheat, maize, potatoes, and rice cultivated by the inmates, Mr. Adasso remarked that this was the first time the facility had achieved such a high level of agricultural production. He attributed the remarkable success to the Presidential Initiative for Food Self-Sufficiency and the agricultural project spearheaded by the Ministry of Agriculture. This is the first time our facility has reached such high levels of agricultural production. Thanks to President Traore's initiative, inmates are now contributing directly to our nation's food security, Mr. Adasso said. Traore stated in a speech that the country cannot continue supporting individuals who are physically capable of working. He emphasized the need to discourage laziness and idleness. Statistics show that 90% of Burkina Faso's population consists of young people. For years, the nation has struggled with high unemployment rates, which have contributed to increased crime and a growing prison population. Under Traore's leadership, the government has introduced a new approach to community service. Instead of imposing long prison sentences that fail to rehabilitate inmates, prisoners are now given the option to work in agricultural production in exchange for sentence reductions. For every month of productive community service, an inmate's sentence is reduced by 3 months. This initiative helps instill discipline and responsibility, making their reintegration into society smoother. This isn't punishment, it's transformation, discipline, and empowerment. The results speak for themselves. In facilities like Bapora, 80 inmates now dedicate themselves to full-time farming. During the rainy season, additional manpower from other prisons is mobilized, and a new 500-seat detention center is under construction to further expand this program. Even the infrastructure reflects trust. Fields without fences, where inmates are responsible for their own security and the upkeep of their crops. This model isn't forced labor, it's a journey towards self-improvement and national progress. One prisoner was quoted saying, "Before, I had no skills and no future. But here, I have learned to farm. When I leave, I'll be able to support myself. We are not just growing food, we are building our future." Prison Service Director General Sabila Sawadogo stated in an interview that, rather than attempting to escape, inmates are actively engaged in learning, work, and contributing to the nation's food production. He emphasized that this initiative is not about forced labor but rather empowerment and national progress. Even during severe droughts, Burkina Faso's prison farms continue to thrive. One such success is a 10-hectare wheat farm expected to produce around 30 tons, debunking the long-standing belief that Burkina Faso's soil is unsuitable for wheat cultivation. The country, which had relied on wheat flour imports for decades, is now producing its own. Additionally, a 5-hectare plot dedicated to banana and cocoa farming is currently in the experimental phase. Livestock, poultry and fish farming have also expanded, boosting the nation's protein supply. While some countries struggle with the loss of USAID and other foreign aid, Burkina Faso is demonstrating that African self-sufficiency is achievable. President Traore's strategy extends beyond prison reform. Recognizing that self-reliance requires modern tools, his government has launched a massive mechanization drive. Hundreds of tractors, tillers for small-scale farms, motor pumps for irrigation, and even motorcycles for agricultural extension workers are being distributed across the country. Subsidies on quality fertilizers, seeds, and pest control products have also been introduced. In a move towards agroecology, Burkina Faso is adopting sustainable practices. Crop rotation, rainwater harvesting, drip irrigation, and organic training programs are reshaping agriculture in an environmentally friendly, cost-effective manner. Digital platforms now provide farmers with real-time data on weather, soil conditions, and market trends, making farming smarter and more efficient. President Traore's vision is clear. Burkina Faso must produce enough food for both consumption and exportation. By dismantling the colonial mindset that quality food must be imported, he is setting a precedent for the entire continent. When a nation empowers its farmers, the entire economy thrives. In a recent speech, Traore emphasized the importance of food sovereignty, stressing that it is not a luxury but a necessity for national security, economic growth, and independence. He was quoted saying, "We must produce what we consume, and we must consume what we produce. How can a nation claim to be developing if it cannot feed its own people? How can we speak of progress while remaining dependent on foreign food imports?" Traore highlighted that true and sustainable development must begin with a sector that engages the majority of the population. In Burkina Faso, 80% of the population are farmers. This is not a weakness. It is our greatest untapped strength. It is only logical that we fully harness this workforce to drive national progress, he stated. He further warned against failing to utilize the country's human and natural resources, calling it a voluntary surrender of the nation's future. That is unacceptable, he declared. President Ibrahim Traore is not just changing policies. He is reshaping the future of Burkina Faso. His reforms in agriculture and prison management are transforming challenges into opportunities, and his message is resonating across Africa. Why should nations depend on foreign aid when they have the land, the workforce, and the potential to be self-sufficient? This serves as a wake-up call for other African nations that have long ignored agriculture, influenced by the notion that only white-collar jobs are prestigious, a belief instilled by the West. It is deeply unfortunate that despite having fertile land, a favorable climate, and a strong workforce, weak leadership continues to foster dependence on the West. Join us in exploring this revolutionary journey by subscribing to this channel. Stay tuned for more stories on transformative leadership, sustainable development, and the power of bold ideas. Let's make Africa great, together.